Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how we constructed DIY bass traps for the studio that we're building. You've probably seen other videos where people have done this. The basis of it is the rock wool safe and sound insulation that you can buy at pretty much any home improvement store, and then you dress it up with a nice cover after you've packed your corners, not too tightly, with rock wool. So let's get to it. Hey, all right, so here's the sequence of events here. You've got your room, all right? So let's build a room here. And we're going to do it like Leonardo da Vinci. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, so there's your corner. This is where you're going to put your bass trap. All right, so we've got an 8-foot ceiling, and we're building 6-foot bass traps. So let's just say you've got drywall on both sides. We have wood over here, but let's say we don't. We're going to put 2 feet across. We're going to measure out 2 feet, and then we're going to put furring strips on each side. So you put these little 1x2 furring strips. You get them at any home improvement store, right? These are perfect representations of them, so skillfully drawn. And that's 6 feet tall. That's all. So tack and glue them to the wall whatever way you like. You could put a really strong adhesive glue like Power Grab, which I recommend highly. It works really, really good. And maybe some little brad nails or screws or whatever, just to kind of help hold it in. This is not some heavy duty thing where you're going to have a lot of weight and pressure against it. Power Grab by itself would probably hold the whole thing. But I used brad nails with one of these Ryobi brad nailers, 18 gauge brad nailers that I happen to have because I work in construction and I got one, so I use that. But you could just use little picture nails or something, anything to help hold it, but you don't really need a whole lot. Okay, now that's your base right there, so that's going to hold everything together. Now you put your rock wool in. So we took rock wool is 4 feet by 2 feet, and this is 6 feet tall, so obviously it's not going to go all the way to the top and bottom. You can stack it whatever way you want. Obviously stacking it from the bottom is probably the smartest thing. I don't recommend putting a whole 2-foot piece in there at first because you're going to have a pocket in the back and you're never going to be able to jam one in there with this spring angle. You know, it wouldn't all fit. It'd be sticking up and poking through. So we cut a piece of rock wool in half long ways. We ripped it long ways. So we had 1-foot pieces of it, and I put a 1-foot piece of rock wool in here like that. And I'm doing it from the top, the opposite of what I told you to do, but that's okay. And then, so the other half of it, we cut a 2-foot piece off of, and we put it down here. So now you've filled up that corner, and just kind of press that in lightly. Now you take a full piece. Let's do it the other way this time. Take a full piece of rock wool, 2 feet by 4 feet, and put it over that, and then take another 2 feet by that's by 2 feet, and that fills the whole thing. So now the whole corner is filled with rock wool, and that's your absorptive deal there. Now to keep that from falling out, obviously, and not hitting anything, you put something over it. So you could use just screen. You can go buy screen at like a home improvement store, like nylon black screen for like window screens. It works really good. And you just take that and put it over the whole thing. I didn't use that, and in the picture you're going to see I used something called tulle. I happened to get it at the fabric store where we bought the fabric for the covers, and it's super lightweight. It's like a mesh, ballerina skirt material. That's what it is. If you see these frilly ballerina skirts, it's tulle. Anyways, I use that just because I was there and I bought it, and I asked the girl, what can I use? And she said, well, tulle is acoustically transparent as you can get. You can, basically see through it. All right, so I put that across there, and what I did was I used big thick pieces of cardboard, and I folded them over a few times off of boxes from stuff that I bought mainly from like Amazon and Sweetwater, and put them on there and stapled through it with one of those, Ryobi guns I was talking about, but this one's a stapler. But you could use a regular stapler, like a hand, like an arrow or whatever, and just staple this stuff on and put these pieces of cardboard on here just to hold the screen or tulle or whatever you use. Anything acoustically transparent will do. And then that holds the rock wool in. So now the rock wool's in there. You got your rock wool in there. And it's held in with, whatever screen you use. And it can't fall out. Now you build your frame, your cover, like a speaker cover, like you would have on a speaker. But, of course, none of us use speaker covers. And what we did for that was same thing. 1x2s. So we took 1x2 furring strips, 6 feet. A little less than 6 feet because, well, you could do 6 feet and then put a piece inside. And a piece inside. Yeah, that's what I did do. And another piece in the middle. Just to build a frame. So we're building like a little ladder frame, like a picture frame. And we put that power grab glue at every joint. And then I used the brad nailer and just brad nailed into it. And just basically built a frame. You could pre-drill and use some kind of like long, thin screws if you wanted to. And it will hold. I mean, you don't need a whole lot of strength here. This is not some big, heavy deal. Brad nails and power grab made it super solid. Within 10 minutes, once the power grab dried, this thing was a solid frame. And then you just lay your fabric on the ground. And we bought, like a black acoustically transparent fabric, so, something breathable, and put that on the ground, lay your frame on it, and then just fold this over and staple it down like you think you're an upholsterer, like we thought we were. It worked, but a little practice and you'll get it right. And you build a speaker frame. So when that's nailed on, you just basically flip this thing over, put it right on top of this monstrosity you've built, and again, tack it in. And I used the brad nailer to tack that in, but you could just use like finishing nails. Whatever you want. You won't see them. They'll disappear. And if you can see them, you can just take a magic marker. But you're not going to see it. You could even screw it in if you wanted. But be careful if you screw it in because you'll start spinning the fabric. It's really best to use nails. And just nail right into those furring strips. That's it. It's a super simple process. I don't think it took us an hour. We got the rock wool. We ripped it down to size with a big filleting knife, like a big filleting fish knife or whatever. Cut it, cut the tulle, but you could use screen with scissors. That's it. And then just tacked it all up there. It did not take long at all. And then made this thing real quick, flipped it over, nailed it on, and you got nice bass traps. And what it'll do is it'll just prevent all the rumble and wackiness inside the room with your bass and tighten up your bass in your room. It kind of like tunes it for you. It just keeps it from spooling up in the corners and creating all kinds of like comb filtering or whatever the hell the technical terms are of why bass sounds like crap in most rooms. And tightens it up really good. These are big ones. These are 6 foot by 2, and we have them in each corner, and you'll see that in a minute. So I just figured it would be just as easy for me to draw this for you so you could see what I really did than try to take a bunch of pictures with someone in the way and all that. And there you go. So here we go.